Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On this flight, I'd like to tell you about some of our in-flight headlines for your amusement. Coming up, we've got the National Black Justice Coalition calling on Netflix to pull Dave Chappelle from their lineup. The term Jedi is canceled by Scientific America for being white saviors. Cenk Uygur says he would end Joe Rogan in a fight. Try not to laugh. Cargo ships are stuck waiting off the coast of California as ports hit their fourth record backup in 3 weeks. The Republicans fold on the debt ceiling. Disturbing videos from Australia show police engaging in some brutal violence. And the AG is linked to a firm that stores psychological profiles of children. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride.
I can only count to four. I can only count to four. I can only count to four. I can only count to
Hey, welcome back, Ryan.
It never fails. Every time we play it, I fucking sit there and do air drums the whole time.
I know. You're even doing the countdown for the air drums and everything.
So the parody of the song goes off of Johnny Pool Bodies. I actually went to the very last show of Johnny Pool with the original singer. Before a dude snorted coke and died. I went for my 19th birthday. It was the Jägermeister tour, and they were just pouring as long as you had a shot glass, if you were by the stage, Johnny Pool.
They were pouring it out for you,
just giving you shots. I'm a 19-year-old just shot. This is what I think I got my love of Jaeger, because after like 2 or 3 shots, I couldn't taste it anymore. It just in. I don't think I could do it. I don't think I could do it now, ever again. I think I had it like a couple years ago, and I was like, how the fuck did I drink this? But
it's just so
Johnny
awful.
Pool's always had like a weird, and then when Psycho Stick, God love them, allowing us to use their music for our show. I Can Only Count to 4 was a great parody. It fucking fit.
Yes.
And it didn't even change any of the music. Everything lined up. So, again, this is Fire Talk Radio, episode 16. Brought to you from God knows where in someone's basement.
You're in a basement. I'm actually in like an office in the attic. So.
Not in Sleepy Joe's basement.
Ding. Speaking of him, Sleepy Joe, his poll numbers are.
Oh God.
So here's the great thing.
First off, where you get to say "I told you so," right? This is where we
first off, I want to say, Ryan, let's go, Brandon.
Oh God.
Let's go, Brandon.
That was just fantastic. I love how "Fuck You, Joe" went to "Let's Go, Brandon" at a NASCAR rally at all.
It's the greatest clip. If you guys haven't seen it, you have to YouTube that clip, or it may not be on YouTube. You might have to go to another site, but Rumble, yeah,
DuckDuckGo,
Rumble would have it. So the clip is this Brandon. I don't watch NASCAR, so I don't know, but Brandon won that race, and he's being interviewed afterwards by CNN, and everyone's yelling, "Fuck you, Joe."
Fuck you, Biden.
Or fuck you,
it was
Biden.
Great. It's a great tone.
Fuck you, Biden.
Yeah, they got the whole clap on and everything. And then instead of blurping it, they go, "Oh, they're staying over there." Thank you.
That's my new catchphrase on online. Whenever somebody says something, that I just want to say, well, fuck Biden. I just go, yeah, let's go, Brandon.
That's just fucking awesome. So, if you haven't yet, you got to check out our website, firetalknetwork.com or firetalkradio.com. Our email address is firetalknetwork@gmail.com. Voicemail number is 814-380-9820. And if you look on our website, we're under our contacts tab. There's a little box there that says how to listen to us. So it gives you all your streaming services that we are connected to.
So this past week in my
It's
state
been a
of
week.
Michigan,
It's
yeah,
been a fucking week.
Biden came to Michigan,
Oh, God.
and did you see the videos from
Did Gretchen grope him?
that? No.
Oh.
I don't
figured
even know if
gave
she
him a
was
reach
actually
around
there
because that's
with
all
him.
she's been doing.
But no, the best part of it though is the whole way down, like they're showing videos of the protesters, and it's miles of protesters down the street.
Oh yeah.
And they're saying "F you, Biden," "Let's go, Brandon," all of that stuff. They're screaming at him and everything. He gets up and he actually, now most presidents, when they see that many protests, they just kind of shrug it off and don't even pay attention. They don't say anything about it. They don't. No, he is so self-involved and so delusional that he actually gets up there and actually says, without anybody asking him, talks about it and actually said, well, I'm the most popular president in history. I got more than 80 million votes. No other person in history has ever gotten that many.
I mean, it was all the dead people that voted for him, sure.
But how deluded do you have to be? People are protesting you everywhere. They're doing it at NASCAR races. They're doing it at football games, on the road. The guy can't go anywhere without the country being pissed at him. His approval rating is in the 30s now.
You know, it's sad when CNN, it has no choice but to fucking actually report the actual report of it. Because the poll,
and even they tried to downplay it.
Yeah, they tried to downplay it, but the fact that they actually they posted everything. And I'm like, wow, he hasn't even made it a year yet. And he's worse. And I want to know who this Illinois president is. Do you know who this damn Illinois president is he keeps speaking of? He said it during the Michigan rally.
I don't know.
He said Illinois president. And I'm like, what? You mean... Then he goes Illinois mayor, and I'm like, I don't think they have a mayor either. Oh, no, they have Chicago. Then they have what's her name, Lightfoot.
Yeah. Lightfoot, Lori Lightfoot. So so here's the thing with all of this: you have him who's delusional saying, "Well, 80 million people voted for me. That means you guys love me." Then you have Jen Psaki, and yes, there is a P in there. It's a Psaki. Saying that the reason his approval ratings are so low is because of the unvaccinated. The unvaccinated? The unvaccinated is his approval ratings.
Well, did you see the job count thing came out too? They were thinking like something like 500,000 new jobs.
Well, he was originally saying 800. It was going to be 800,000.
Yeah.
Then they lowered it to 400 or 500,000, and when it came out, it was like 170.
130. It was 135,000.
135,000. Okay.
Yeah. I died laughing. I was like, yeah, because there's a lot of states still doing unemployment benefits, still, because a lot of it's being backdated because how swamped everybody was. It's like. You can't expect people not to just sit at home. I couldn't do it. I worked the whole pandemic. My wife worked the whole pandemic. And then we see people just abusing and just sitting at home and getting benefits just because they don't want to work. Now some states had revoked all the unemployment benefits, so they're all going back to work. Now jobs are flooded with people, but they go over if you're in a state that has a vaccine mandate, no one wants to be there. I mean, speaking of like jobs, look at Tesla. Tesla's leaving California to Texas. That was an announcement that they're officially doing it. I was like, SpaceX is already in or in Texas. Now you got a Tesla there too. Yeah.
Well, Apple years ago moved their actual corporate headquarters to Texas, to Austin.
Because
that was decades ago.
Yeah.
So it's everybody's leaving, and you have this government that, wants to supposedly battle the coronavirus, while at the same time firing the nurses and the hospital workers and the x-ray techs and all these people.
Oh, no, but United went from a 58% of getting the vaccine to 98 in 2 days. I wonder what fucking happened.
Right. Yeah. Well, did you see the Twitter video? And I think it was also on TikTok of the guy in Texas that fired half his staff.
Oh yeah.
Just under.
He fired 48 people just to be
48
under the 100.
people. Yes.
And it was because they're already vaccinated. He goes,
right. He said the government is mandating that if I have over 100 employees that I have to
get them all they all have to
I have
be
to
vaccinated.
get them all vaccinated, and the ones that don't get fired. Well, I figured out the solution. 48 are vaccinated, 98 are not vaccinated. I fired the 48.
Yeah, that was fucking genius.
Now, in reality, he's actually helping everybody, because by firing them 48, they now qualify for unemployment.
Yep.
So he's helping them. They're still getting paid unemployment then afterwards. Plus, he's under that 100 threshold. Yep. So he doesn't have to fire any of the unvaccinated.
That little sneak, that little page that's in that bill that they're trying to pass. Oh, if you don't get it, it moves from 70,000 to 700,000 for the fine. And I'm like, you're gonna bankrupt the country because you want to vaccinate everybody.
Right. Well, and then look at I texted you last night. My sister's boyfriend.
So you had your sister's boyfriend?
Yeah, he's still in the ICU. Actually, I talked to her. He's not in ICU. He's still in the ER. Okay. So they haven't quite moved him. Yeah, but he got the vaccine. He had to have it by October 1st. So he got it a couple days before in order to keep his job. He's a nurse. And ever since then, he said that, he's been feeling sick, like flu-like symptoms. And he's like, it'll pass. Last week I talked to him, and he was saying that he couldn't breathe. He was just having a hard time taking a deep breath and stuff like that. My sister texted me on Wednesday saying that he's spiking fevers. He can't eat anything. He, she needs to take him to the hospital, but he's refusing to go because she said he's a nurse. He knows what happens in them hospitals. He doesn't want to be in the hospital right now. He knows that they don't do anything for you, for him. And it ended up last night, she finally convinced him to go to the hospital, and they tested him. He's negative for COVID, but his right lung is filled with pneumonia and seizing up.
That's awesome. In a shitty way.
And the thing is as I'm talking about this, I was talking to my dad and talking to people that know him and everything. The hospital who should be liable for that. They're the ones that forced him. He did not want to get it. He didn't want to get it. He can't sue the hospital. He can't sue the vaccine. He has no recourse to, for any of this. And who knows what's going to happen to him now, what his, life is going to be like, because he was forced. And they're probably going to say, and I'm sure there's probably people that are listening to this that are going to say, well, you don't know it was the vaccine. It could have just been a random infection. You know what? when you start hearing more and more and more, I think I mentioned this on the last episode. This is now number 8. 8.
That's been discussed.
That I know personally. When you start seeing all of this happening, then it's no longer just, oh, this person got the, it's like when the doctors say, oh, you got the flu shot, and people go, yeah, and I got the flu from it. And they go, well, no, you probably got the shot and then, or had the flu beforehand and then got the shot. It's like, no.
My wife's cousin, I didn't know this until just recently. He ended up getting the shot, got COVID, and then ended up having a stroke. And I was like, I told you, he works for state agency. He was doing it for his kids and everything. And I was like, I understood why he got it. I mean, I'm not judging him for getting it. You chose to do it. It just sucks. Now he's stuck in a sense.
My uncle, I have an uncle that I don't know if he's going to make it through. He's going to get cancer treatments at the University of Michigan Hospital. Oh. Because since he got the vaccine back in March, he has been losing weight. He's been throwing up and got to a point where he can barely walk. He's in so much pain. They finally got him down and figured out he has cancer and has a tumor. They said the size of the tumor, it had to have been there for years and had to have been benign for years, just in and of itself. But something in the past 6 months activated it and made it malignant.
That sucks.
Now, can we blame it on the vaccine? Well, all I know is it's very coincidental that if he had this tumor.
Which one did he get? Did he get the Moderna or the Pfizer?
I don't know. It was he got two shots, so I know it was one of them.
One of those two.
It wasn't the J&J. But
see, that's the thing about the spike protein nobody realizes. This is, out of all the vaccines that we have, we've never had to use a spike protein. Spike protein is just the genetic marker of it, where all the other vaccines prior are the actual virus. Like when you go for smallpox, there's smallpox in the fucking virus, in the cure, right, in the vaccine. Polio, MMR, all that has a piece of the actual virus, where the COVID-19 virus, the vaccine uses a spike protein of what it looks like.
Right, and causes your body DNA to create these proteins so that you already have them, so that it can't reproduce.
Yeah, so it's very much, the studies on the spike proteins are not sufficient enough to, and what I've read in data wise, to make me go, that'd be a good thing to get.
Well, and the concerning thing for me, and anybody that's listening is noticing, I'm starting to change as I do more research, and I have more friends and family members now that are having these reactions. I want
to carry
the spike protein when they did it with rats. The rats didn't survive. The studies that they did with rats, the rats died.
Yeah, my worry is that it's not more for the adults. I'm worried more for the children that they're starting to force.
Well, and now California is forcing kids can't go to school. Even
all kids, kindergarten to high school, must be vaccinated by September of next year. I'm like, yeah, fuck you. Homeschool it is. That's what I already told my wife.
And now you have my son's school, who said that if you're in close contact, meaning anybody in your room catches it, and you're you have to either be quarantined. Essentially, they have to suspend you for 2 weeks from school, 10 days, or you have to come in and hour early to school. Your parents have to bring you, and you have to get the test every single day for 10 school days. And if you're positive in any of them tests, even if a retest shows a negative, if you're positive in any of them tests, then you're sent home for another 10 days or 14 days or whatever it is, and you can't come to school.
Bullshit. So
the school district, is trying to figure out, they don't have the staff to be able to do all these tests with kids. I was at one school board meeting, and in 1 week, they had in our school district 400 kids out. Of that 400 kids, 7 of them actually had COVID.
Oh.
So, because parents are working, they can't stay home with their kids for 10 days and all that. They don't have the staff to test all of these kids. So the school board is talking about asking the governor for the National Guard to come in to be able to test the kids.
So it's going to be like New York, right? Where they fired all those people. The mayor of New York City activated the National Guard to fill in hospitals.
Right. This is another hard line for me. I will not send my kid to school if there's military there. I won't. My kid is in 4th grade. He doesn't need to be in a school where there's military testing people.
No, you're not wrong. I wouldn't want that either. And because as me and my wife already discussed that they're going to talk about vaccinating the children, they have to be vaccinated. And she looked at me and she goes, "What do you want to do?" I said, "I'm not fucking sending both my kids. We will figure it out." And
I don't know how hard it is.
Parent.
Yeah, I don't know how hard it is in Pennsylvania to homeschool. In Michigan, it's literally, we have to send a letter to the superintendent.
They have online schools already depicted for the state of Pennsylvania, called PA Cyber, where if you want to do that, they'll send you the laptop and you do all your curriculum right through their program for the state of PA, which is kind of nice.
I know last year we homeschooled our son, and it was great. I loved it. And he was a lot less stressed. He was learning so much and learning in a way that it's not like school where he's sitting in class for 8 hours a day. He would do a little bit. I would teach a little bit. He would do homework. Then he'd get to sleep in when he wants. He'd wake up and go, "Hey, can we do this tomorrow? Because, I don't feel like learning this today." You're so flexible.
Yeah. I told my wife and I, we talked about it. So the way our schedules are, that I would do like the morning, and then we would break for lunch for a few hours, and she would get home and then take the rest of it up till dinner. And I was like, "Oh, it wouldn't be a bad idea. This way we can both still work." It's just like,
well, what I learned,
I don't know if I want to do that because
what I learned what I learned homeschooling is it's obviously based on the individual, but for my son, he would much rather get all of his assignments that he need to learn that day, and then basically go through all of them at once and be done in like 2 hours.
Yeah.
And that's how he would much rather do that than, sit and do assignments and have me teaching them and stuff like that. He'd rather go through, and then when he had questions or, we'd go on field trips or something like that, then he'd, would be a whole day. But for the most part, he much rather just learned the stuff that he needed to learn and do it himself.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah. Yeah, it was like we went to my family, we went to Tennessee a few weeks ago. When we got back, the school told us that he has 2 unexcused, unapproved absences. We need to have a conversation to make sure this doesn't happen. I said, "You jackass, I sent you a form giving you the dates where we were going to be gone. You just didn't approve those 2 days. So, fuck you and your feelings." Yeah, I'm not allowed to go to a school board meeting because I think the cops would have to remove me after I call them a bunch of idiots.
I have one tomorrow night. I've been going to our school board meetings and speaking up against them.
Oh yeah,
Every
no, that's a great. You should get them to videotape it. Someone to videotape it.
I should find and read you my last one. So they cut my our time. So our school board. This is one of the ways that they're silencing people. By the way,
time.
So they're supposed to give you 5 minutes, and they cut it down to 3.
Yeah, I don't doubt that.
So they cut it down, and they say, "Oh, it's because there's so many people." BS. But
they just don't want to stay there that late.
They just don't want to hear people spending 5 minutes.
You're a domestic terrorist if you're going against them.
Yeah, so I talked to my wife about that. I need to start downloading like really, really nasty, like raunchy porn so that when the FBI starts investigating me, they have to watch all this really...
You gotta do a TED too.
Yeah.
When he lifts up the thing, there's so much porn.
I just need to find so anybody that's listening to this, send me the
Joel,
grossest, most obscure, legal. Make sure it's legal.
Joel. Yeah. We have a buddy. His name is Joel. He does the 40 14
going on 40?
Yeah. There we go. 40 going on 14. They do that podcast. They're a bunch of great dudes. Joel's been on there. I've known Joel for years. You want porn? Dudes found a dinosaur porn 10 years ago, and we were like, "What?"
I want to find a 2-hour clip of Two Girls in a Cup playing on loop, just so that the FBI agents have to watch that over and over and over again.
You ever bring up Two Girls One Cup ever again? I quit.
But
I remember when that shit came out, and I was young and naive, like, "Oh, this is gonna Two Girls One Cup. Oh, this can't be bad." I think I threw up all over myself. I was so I
fell for that too. I fell for that.
No, it was no worse than
the whole thing with the videos was you see the people's reactions, and then you're seeing and then you're like, "What the heck are they even watching?" And then you watch it yourself, and you're like, "Oh God."
And then you're one of the reactions.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So, but who knows? Maybe I'll be considered a terrorist. And that's really, isn't that a problem? This is the one thing that pisses me off about George W. Bush. I'm kind of going off on a tangent here.
Go for it.
But the whole thing with the Patriot Act, and I thought this. Back when he introduced it, back when they passed it, is that they had all these non-constitutional punishments and everything that they can do for terrorists, quote unquote terrorists.
It was very weirdly worded, the Patriot Act.
And the thing is I even back then I kept, I was a lot younger. This was 20 years ago almost. And a
lot of us back then, a lot of us had tunnel vision because 9/11 just happened.
Yeah.
So everybody was kind of just looking, "Oh, you attacked our country. We're going to fuck you up," kind of moment. Only time I've ever seen New York holding hands and being nice to people.
But the thing is, even back then, I'm going, well, this is great and all, but what about when they change the definition of who a terrorist is? That's all they have to do is change the definition, and they can do anything to anybody.
I hope you like Guantanamo Bay, because I have a feeling we're probably going to be there by the end of our seasons.
So, well, I mean, look at the January 6th, all of that January 6th riot that they're calling an insurrection. That now they're saying that they're a bunch of terrorists. If those guys are terrorists, they are the worst terrorists in the history of ever.
They didn't accomplish destruction. They were just
inconveniencing
people.
It was a riot. It was a riot. It started off as somebody really pissed off or a group of people really pissed off rushing in, and then group mentality set in.
Yeah. I mean, everybody got walked in by the cops. Everyone they had a little standing between the ropes. I don't know how fucking crazy that was. Because it's the thing. When I grew up in DC, we've always been allowed inside that building. There's actually an upstairs where in the house.
I've been in there. I watched a session go on. Senate.
You're
session.
able to go in and sit and watch them debate live.
Yeah.
You can't go to the bottom floor. You have to go upstairs. But now, because the way COVID restrictions are, upstairs is also being used for certain people so they can separate everybody out. And it's like, January 6th happened. It's not normal. It's normal for a lot of people who live there. They like to go up in and walk around in the House and the Senate. So, yes, did something spark in the crowd? Yes, most likely. The only gunshot that went off was the Secret Serviceman. That
Capitol
killed
Police.
That lady. Yeah. No, it was Secret Service inside the chamber.
I thought it was a Capitol Police officer.
I don't know. It was law enforcement. How about that?
Yeah.
It could have been Secret Service or Capitol. But you're right. How they define how a terrorist is the whole key to the puzzle.
Now anybody that speaks out against their school board are potential terrorists.
Oh, yeah.
And they're saying, it's because, people have made death threats to the, you know what? If somebody makes a death threat, that's a local issue. If somebody makes a death threat against me, it's a local issue. It goes to my local police department. It may get pushed up to the Attorney General of Michigan and be a state police issue, but it's not an FBI.
No.
And to say a bunch of these moms and dads that are concerned about their kids for when it comes to vaccines and masking and critical race theory, that we're all now terrorists. We're not. We're concerned parents. And it's all the teachers union. It's all the now school board union. Did you know there's a school board union?
Yes.
I didn't. Until this FBI thing, I'm like, there's a school board union?
Yes. They are a branch of the teachers union. So
why do school boards even need a union? They're elected officials that are there for 6 years.
Yeah. That's
or at least
never
in my
been
school board.
Understood of why they have a union when they're elected officials. I couldn't answer why there's a school board union. Makes no sense. If I'm wrong, please tell us that we're wrong and explain. Because the way they're talking, that there's a teachers school board union that needs to fucking kick rocks.
Yeah. And on top of that, they're calling on, you have Merrick Garland, who thankfully didn't become a justice. Hopefully he doesn't. So you have Merrick Garland, who's the Attorney General, who's the one that sent out the notice to the FBI to keep an eye on parents at school board meetings and treat them like terrorists. When it comes to find out, his daughter is married to the co-founder of Panorama Education, which issues surveys to students without their parents' knowledge about asking them about gender fluid and how confident they are with the school as far as race and gender equality.
That's awesome.
So this company that has ties to our Attorney General is funded by Mark Zuckerberg.
Fuck that guy.
And they're taking surveys of kids. They're surveying kids without their parents' permission and they're getting around it by saying that they're not that they're a school entity, that they're a school administrator. Somehow they got around the law by saying that this company is a school administrator, therefore they can release student information to this company without the parents' permission or even knowledge. This is our attorney general that's attached to this company, and our attorney general that is fighting the parents of school children because they don't agree with what's going on with the politics.
Yeah, that's a local police kind of matter, not an FBI. But if you're not a distraught parent at a school board meeting, when a school board person tells you you don't have the right to raise your children, you'd be amazed how pissed off a lot of parents become. The ultimate factor is you pull your child. The more children that are removed from a school, the more teachers lose their jobs, because they can only be funded by the census of the school.
Right.
That I know of. So the more students, the more teachers they can have. Less students, less teachers.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate. That's the ultimate get out. I was like, oh, fine. I just pull my child. And you have that right, because the fact is that you're the ultimate responsible person to that thing you created, at least until they're 18.
And but if they're less than one, according to the left, they're not a child. If they're in the womb, they're not a human. I just confused you, didn't I?
No, I want to make sure I word this fucking correctly. I understand that they feel that if they're in the womb, they're not a person. But if you want to fucking abort them, then don't mush them up into cells that can be used for something else. Because no. Yes, if a child is to be aborted, it should be within the first trimester, between 6 and 9 weeks. I understand, but the thing is that it should be a 2-person decision for it. 'Cause even though, yes, the woman carries the baby, it does take 2 people to create a child. And do I like abortion? No. It's not my cup of tea. I do believe in special circumstances for an abortion, life altering or life ending if given birth. Rape of any kind of nature, incest, that's it.
Yeah, that's a different topic that we could have a full discussion on.
We're gonna have a different. That's going to be a topic for another day. You talked about.
Yeah, I can
disagree
with you on some of them points, but I do agree that if there is one, it should be a 2-party.
It should. I mean, but if I win the lottery, man, I want to be like this guy.
Hold on. I'm bringing it up.
I caught him off guard.
I have to wait for the thing to let me go live.
Load. I mean, you can't be wrong. I mean, at least the dude was honest of what he wanted if he won the lottery. I give him that much credit.
What are you going to do with that money if you win?
Well, I'm definitely going to get a new supercharged Mustang with dual exhaust and about 5 kilos of cocaine, and I'll be good to go.
Okay, so you like cars. You like cars.
You like cars. If I win the lottery,
no, bitch, I like cocaine.
I want 5 kilos of cocaine. That's a guy who knows what he wants.
I mean, at least, the question is like, man, is he gonna, I don't know, is he gonna do it? Is he gonna like take the whole kilo and just sniff it, or just pace himself with it?
He's gonna
share.
He's gonna be like Al Pacino and with the mountains of cocaine, where he just puts his face into the whole thing.
His nose in it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I need some coke.
I mean, a kilo of cocaine is 2.2 pounds, I think, isn't it?
Something like that, yeah.
So he wants like 10 pounds of coke.
10 pounds of cocaine.
Yeah. Now, I've never taken cocaine. I've never done cocaine, so I don't know if that's a lot. I remember at one point somebody talking about 10 pounds of weed and going, this is so much weed. And then now that it's legal, you look at and you see 10 pounds of weed and you're like, oh, look, it's that right there.
Right. I remember being a stoner, then I stepped away from it, and then I'm back to being a stoner. My dad calls me a lazy stoner because I vape. I don't use flour.
You don't like to do the whole grinding it up and then rolling it and having to.
Fucking Christ, man! I'm old. I'm lazy. Give me a pen. Give me a pen with oil in it. It works and it lasts longer. I don't feel like I waste it as I did when I had flour. And my mom thought it was great before she passed. She was like, "Oh." We would just pass the vape pen back and forth. She goes, "Man, this is taking forever. Let's just take a nap now." I said, yeah, nap time.
The only problem with the vape pen is sometimes it hits you too hard, and then you're like, oh, shit, I have to roll with this for like 20 minutes before I start leveling off.
Oh, my God. Yeah. It all depends on which one. I mean, if it's an indica, I'm done for the night. Talk to me tomorrow. But I gotta love weed. It's so much better. I tell my wife all the time it's better than alcohol. It's not decriminalized to where if my wife were to do it, it just wouldn't happen. For her job would be a no bueno.
So I read a story that in Southern Oregon they found an illegal grow, so they weren't registered.
What? An illegal grow? Oh,
illegal grow.
Those things actually exist in Oregon?
And supposedly the people were growing and shipping it out of state. But according to the article, they wouldn't say how many pounds or how many plants or anything like that. But the guy goes, we found what we estimate to be $100 million worth of marijuana there. I'm thinking, $100 million?
The question is, which strain is it? That is the question.
But even which strain, $100 million?
Who knows? Man, it could be Purple Urkel. Oh, man, I would love to give me a hold of some Purple Urkel. That's California. There's just so much fucking shit out in California, not as it is on the East Coast. You know, I'm
still trying to figure out, like, when they say $100 million, I have a hard time believing them anymore.
I would too. That would be hard.
You know, I mean,
in the way they
I guess it depends where you live and how much it is. I mean, you know, if say the going rate of a pound is like, you know, average between $1,000 and $2,000 depending on where you live.
That's weird.
How much do you have to get 100 million? I don't feel like doing that math.
Oregon, weeds everywhere.
I know. That's the thing. They've decriminalized everything. So how can they say there's $100 million worth? They'd have to have thousands upon thousands upon thousands of plants.
That's nuts.
So I mean, I know from friends that grow, their plants get roughly about 6 to 8 ounces per plant. If they let it grow longer and let the buds get bigger, they can get more, but they might get a pound a plant. But so 6 to 8 ounces indoor. So let's say 8 ounces, that's a half a pound.
Sure. So
they would need 2 million. No, that wouldn't be right. Because they'd get I don't know. I don't want to do the plant. But, I mean, think about how many plants they would have to have for it to be 100 million.
That's an insane amount of weed.
I know. Now, 5 kilos of coke, I don't even know how much that would cost.
Enough.
FBI, I am searching up how much a kilo of coke is just for research purposes.
There you go. When you get arrested for being a terrorist, you're researching 5 kilos of coke.
How much is 5 kg of coke? Cocaine street price. A kilo of cocaine can cost as little as $14,500 or as much as $45,000 in Anchorage. In Boston, 1 kilo costs around $30,000. Holy shit. So let's average, say, 25,000 a kilo. 5 kilos would be $125,000.
That sounds like I guess a deal if you win the lottery is what it's like. This was like it was almost $800K that they projected. So,
well, that's before tax.
True.
So by the time he pays taxes, he's getting about $400K.
Yeah,
and he'd spend a quarter of that just on coke.
Yeah. That's something.
Yeah. So, all right. Moving on to the next one. Oh, come on.
Come on,
transition. Was that a transition?
I don't know. There's a transition.
All right. Now, what's now? Oh, this is one of my favorite ones. So you heard about, that Joe Rogan is a black belt in jiu-jitsu.
Dude, Joe Rogan would fucking crush him. There's
second degree
no
black belt
question.
in Taekwondo. He's a national
COVID in 2 days. 2 fucking days. He'd crush anybody.
So Cenk Uygur, who he's from the Young Turks. I don't know if you've ever actually tried watching them, but
no, I've seen it on, but I couldn't do it.
He actually put out a tweet that said evidently there was a feud between him and Rogan, but he started the ball rolling by saying that to all the loser Joe Rogan fans crying over my attack on his freedom, hypocrisy, and stupidity, are you guys part of the crew, or do you kiss his ass for fun? I thought he was a big boy who could handle himself. If he doesn't like my free speech, he can grow a pair and defend himself. So one of Rogan's fans lashed back at him, saying that he would donate $1,000 to any charity Ugger picks if he calls Rogan a loser to his face. And Cenk wrote back saying, I'll take it one step further by saying I would destroy Rogan because this fat ass thinks he can actually
right now,
take Joe Rogan.
There was a tweet by Cynic that was a $1,000 bet right now. I'm like, dude,
so his
how do you
reasoning,
want Rogan to kill you?
His reasoning is that he said it'd be the easiest $1,000 he ever made. This is Cenk's tweet. He said, "You think he's going to assault me? Sure, whatever. That's incredibly dumb. But also, it wouldn't work. I'm much larger than Joe, and I fought my whole life. I'd end him. But grown-ups don't do that. I'll send you the P.O. box to send that check later." Literally, the world is laughing at him right now. So Joe Rogan, I study jiu-jitsu, I study judo, mixed martial arts, and taekwondo myself. Joe Rogan would make mincemeat out of me, and I've studied most of my life.
And you know what's sad is he is stoned most of the day. That fucker is the biggest pothead I've ever seen.
Well, you know what's crazy though?
Normal people.
A lot of the people that I know that do martial arts prefer to train stoned because they say it makes them not think so much, so they rely more on their reactions and their intuition. And it slows them down enough in practice that when they're in a real fight, things feel like their reaction time and everything is faster. But again, Rogan would kick my ass, and I'm not a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He's like a twice black belt because he's one under Eddie Bravo with Ninth Planet, and he's under with the Gracies. Do you know how hard and how long it takes to get a black belt in jiu-jitsu? I have a friend that just got his brown belt, and he's been studying jiu-jitsu for 15 years.
I wanted to, when I was thinner, I wanted to train. I wanted to get back into fighting, and I wanted to start studying Brazilian jiu-jitsu. There's actually a place by me that does the actual Brazilian jiu-jitsu training. And I was like, oh, that'd be awesome. And then I got fat, and then I was like, I can't move. I can't bend like that anymore. I've watched Brazil, and I'm like, man, jiu-jitsu's all grappling.
Yeah.
That fucker will squeeze me thin.
Well, I mean, I've done jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu for a number of years.
I've seen Joe Rogan fight. I've seen some of his older fights, and I'm like, that fucker will just.
And he fought Taekwondo back when I did, when there was minimal protection. It wasn't just, now Taekwondo is a lot of just, I'm going to slap you, I'm just going to hit, I'm going to get points. No, back when he fought, it was, I'm going to kick you through the wall.
Yeah. That was like, the whole purpose of it. It was like, oh,
yeah, back when we did you didn't get your point unless the person was knocked back. So, yeah, Joe Rogan would make, I would say Cenk would last 10 seconds if Rogan was being nice and toying with him. Yeah. If Rogan was toying with him. If Rogan really wanted to end him, it would be one hard kick and that'd be it.
It would be ding ding and Joe Rogan would come at him like a flying monkey. Just in the air, hands up. And just screaming. That would probably be how I see Joe Rogan landing on top of him and just beat the shit out of him in his face.
One hard kick from Rogan, and it would be over. Let me find a YouTube. There's a YouTube of Rogan doing kicks.
Yeah, no, he demolished this guy.
All right, and we're back. I do have those videos of Joe Rogan. Let me play this for you. So this is Joe Rogan kicking. All right, these are his kicks. He's not just a grappler.
Nice and extended. That's the big thing. Knee up high, straight line.
Because remember, he's a world champion taekwondo
knee up
and
high,
kickboxer.
straight through the hand.
Good God, look how far back he's kicking the dude. He's holding a pad.
All right.
He's like, yeah, fuck this.
Now, check this out.
It's not a spin, it's a turn. And at the end, side kick.
You take
It's got much more power.
that's Chank's stomach right there.
Dude, that's
Stand here like
all
this,
chest.
And he just steps
Shank is about that tall to where,
serious
where
power.
he kicks
That's a lot of
all
fucking
chest.
to a roundhouse kick. It starts up like this, and then as you go up, you turn into a roundhouse kick. And Feitosa is like famous for it. To the point where
So
they call
what
it
he's
a
talking
K1 guy
about
called
here
the
is
Brazilian kick.
doing a front kick and
That's
turning
another
into a
effective
roundhouse to the
Taekwondo.
head, faking them
So
out.
you stand like this.
So he fakes the front,
So
boom,
it comes
to the
in
head.
like this, and then as it's coming in, it goes over the top like that. So you think it's this, and you know you go to block like this, and as you do,
In male form.
it comes over the top.
Right there. Boom! Look at that. Spinning
That's a
heel
beautiful
kick.
angle right there.
Spinning heel kick. Boom!
God damn.
I second that.
This is Joe Rogan. This is what Cenk would look like. He'd look like that punching bag.
Dude, I hate to see what
Do
looks
that,
like
that
inside
360
that punching
spinning
bag.
a roundhouse.
Watch this. Watch this. This is one of my favorite kicks. He does it to the left side, though.
Haha.
Yeah.
Jackie Chan, fuck. Can you imagine if someone pulls that off?
You're spinning, and as you're spinning, across the face. And
Whoa. Nice.
That's just nasty.
So that's the stuff that I trained in. That's the stuff that I grew up learning before jiu-jitsu, before judo, even before wrestling was that stuff. That's my basis for stand-up. Joe, as much as I know and as much as I know I can take on 80 to 90% of the people that are in front of me, Joe would demolish me.
Oh.
And I would demolish Cenk in a heartbeat. So there is no way that Cenk even lasts, like I say, one of those kicks. If Joe, basically all Joe has to do is go, I'm going to kick you now, and Cenk would be through the cage.
Well, I mean, you look at the guy that got hit. Yeah. Fucking when he was getting kicked with the pat, it was, dude was pushed back. He went back a few steps. I was like, he's getting kicked with a pad. Think about it once that kick hits.
And that's with an 8-inch. That's with an 8-inch belly pad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how much power is in them kicks. So Rogan is no joke. Rogan will kick your ass. He kicked COVID's ass in 2 days, like you said.
I was gonna say he killed COVID in 2 days. COVID did have a fucking COVID after Joe Rogan was like, "Fuck, we made a mistake."
Yeah. You know all those jokes about oh god, what's his name? Walker Texas Ranger.
Oh yeah.
Chuck Norris. All them Chuck Norris jokes, you know, Chuck Norris doesn't do push-ups. He pushes the earth down, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
That's Joe Rogan.
Well, I mean,
But Joe does it with a blunt in his mouth.
yes, that is very true. What was it? Someone was doing a meme of the old Star Wars movies, and they had Chuck Norris in as the Force. I said, "Oh, that would fucking make sense."
You know, yeah. Chuck Norris doesn't worry about COVID. COVID worries about Chuck Norris. COVID freaking ran away from Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
COVID went, shit, we fucked up. And we're out of here. Like, we're gone. We messed with the wrong man.
Too late. fucking all the stuff that Joe Rogan's takes. He said it in his he did a TikTok video of it. He's like, man, I was on ivermectin. I was on like vitamin they had like he had a
vitamin C drip IV.
Yeah, I was like, dude, you got a fucking drip of fucking vitamin C and IVs of just fluid. He flushed it out. Not only did he flush it out, he killed it. I was like, that's nuts.
You know, but here's the thing. He has the connections to be able to get the doctors to give him that stuff. We don't have them connections.
And then everybody like criticized him. That's the thing. Yes, there are. And I've seen ivermectin work. Like my aunt's a PA, and she prescribes it to people that feel like they're starting to come on with COVID. She goes, oh, here. She'll give 45-day supply, and it's a pill. You take the pill like 3 times a day, and it helps. It helps to where you're pre-fighting it before it starts spreading. So, I mean, what Joe Rogan did was exactly what anybody's supposed to do. He got the right medications, called it a day.
And he got it.
Not a horse pace.
He got it quickly. And that's the thing is, for all of these tests that say ivermectin doesn't work, every time they test it on people, it's when they're damn near dead.
Yeah. Well, no.
They don't test it on people that are...
Ivermectin is made by Merck. MERK.
Yep.
They're a huge pharmaceutical company. The problem with ivermectin is that the patent ran out. You want to hear some bullshit? They creating another pill on the same formula base of ivermectin for COVID now, and they're trying to get emergency release authorization.
And it's going to cost thousands of dollars to take it. To where ivermectin costs like $1 a pill.
Yep. Hey, you're going to tell me this is not money. This is not money driven whatsoever. Because if Merck wasn't worried about the money, they would be fighting for ivermectin to be pushed.
And you know what? To all you people out there that say, "Oh well, the CDC and all these studies say there isn't any difference." All of these studies that they do, that the CDC looks at and does, they don't do it to healthy people or to people that are new to COVID. They do it to people that are in the hospital and damn near dead from COVID, and then they go, "Let's give them ivermectin and see what it does."
Yeah. So this is why there's they jumped on the vaccine thought of a shot before actually pulling real studies of actual proven medications. That is a way of it needs to be looked at better or more. But
well, the thing is there's enough, they say, well, there's only anecdotal evidence that it works. Yeah. You know what? When there's, again, enough anecdotal evidence, there's so many things in medicine that come from anecdotal evidence, from doctors saying, well, let's try this. Let's try this. Hey, it worked for you. It worked for you. It worked for you. Everyone wants these, double-blind CDC studies.
A whole bunch of people I've watched, including Joe Rogan, have all stated those that have it or really don't show symptoms, they're healthy. They're healthy people. They exercise, they eat right, and all that. Also, it's a contributing factor. Good health gives you anybody, or you can be like George Carlin and swim in the Hudson.
Yeah.
Don't recommend doing that. Not at all. But if you look at those that have the vaccine that get COVID again, a lot of those people are out of shape. They're not healthy. They don't eat healthy. They don't, and that has to be
not everyone. Like I say, I know I have friends that took the vaccine and got COVID and were really sick from it, and they were pretty healthy people.
I'm saying
some
about,
more
like,
healthy
the people
than
that
me.
they show on television, and that they're saying that these studies prove that these people. I was like, look at the common denominator. They're out of shape. They're not taking care of themselves. So they got a shot to be lazy, so they can stay lazy. Where you look at a guy like Joe Rogan, that dude sleeps 3 hours a fucking day, but yet he keeps vitamins, and he eats
And
right.
exercise. He exercises constantly. He's going to the sauna
He's constantly
regularly.
moving.
Yeah. Yep.
I still want him to do the presidential election between Joe Biden and Trump.
Oh God, I would love to see him
the
as
debates
a
going and him
or
moderating.
as the moderator. Yeah.
Yeah, I would kill to see that. That would be amazing to watch. And
now, doesn't mean I agree with him on everything. He's definitely a Bernie fan. I'm not a Bernie fan.
That's the one thing about Rogan is he's very open-minded to everybody's situations.
Right.
He even admit, like, yeah, he didn't like Trump. Main thing he didn't like about Trump is his Twitter. Other than that, people have their preferences and everything. So, I mean, it is what it is. I didn't like Trump on everything that he spoke of, but
well, that's why there's good
did
Trump and there's bad
everything
Trump.
that he was voted on. Like, he was like, this is what I'm set to do. This is what I'm doing. And he was being very transparent about it, too. It was like, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm doing. You saw his fucking actions. So it is what it is.
He said he was gonna. He said he was gonna drain the swamp, and he didn't really do that. He should have went in there first day and said, "Anybody that's above this line, you're fired."
Right.
But
and that's where I think the thing is where the theory that JFK Jr. is still alive. He didn't die in that plane crash. That's the theory. And all. But who knows?
Yeah. All right, moving on. What's next on your list?
My list. Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle is being canceled by the National Black Justice Coalition. Why? Because he hates trans. He doesn't hate trans.
So, Dave Chappelle, here's the thing with Dave Chappelle. He's anti-PC. He's always been anti-PC. He speaks how he wants. His last special, he flat out told everyone he went against woke culture and cancel culture. And he said, it said something about the joke, the people that want to cancel him or the people that are, all these bullshit people and stuff. And I have to remember exactly what he says, but he's like, that's you. That's you guys.
Right.
And I mean, I don't know what to say about Dave Chappelle. I hope Netflix doesn't give in to that. So
no, I had to squish a giant fucking spider. Fucking, where the fuck did that thing come from?
You're in a basement.
I know. Oh well, I'm stealing this shit up anyways this weekend. It'll be awesome. Yeah, Dave Chappelle has always been that guy that he's up there like Robin Williams, Carlin.
Carlin wouldn't survive in this environment.
Carlin?
Yeah.
He'd probably have a heart attack all the stupid that he has to deal with.
Yeah, exactly.
if Carlin were still alive, one, I think he would have had a field day with Trump, but yet also would have been awesome to watch. But Carlin would have never lasted. Chappelle he stated that this is his last special. He's doing it for a while, which kind of sucks. And all, but like he went after he didn't go after the LGBTQ community. He made a comment. The Karens of the LGBT alphabet.
Yeah, and I haven't seen the
community.
Special yet, so I can't really speak too much on the whole special.
He was speaking out, and the person that was defending him ended up committing suicide very shortly after. And the fact that they're going after him because of that, which is kind of messed up in itself. But
so here's the one that I was talking about from his last thing on
the last special.
Netflix.
Tonight I'm going to do something that I'm not particularly good at, but that I like to do. Tonight I'm going to try some impressions out. I only got 2. All right, the first impression's kind of dumb, but I like it. This is my impression. You ready? This is my impression of the founding fathers of America when the Constitution was being written. You ready? Here it goes. Hurry up and finish that Constitution, nigger. I'm trying to get some sleep. It's not bad, right? All right, the next one. The next one's a little harder. I want to see if you can guess who it is I'm doing an impression of. All right, let me get into character. You got to guess who it is, though. Okay, here it goes. Hey, if you do anything wrong in your life, and I find out about it, I'm going to try to take everything away from you. And I don't care when I find out. Could be today, tomorrow, 15, 20 years from now. If I find out, you're fucking finished. Who's that? That's you. That's what the audience sounds like to me.
Hey, not wrong.
That's why I don't be coming out doing comedy all the time, because y'all niggas is the worst motherfuckers I've ever tried to entertain in my fucking life.
He's not wrong there.
No, I mean, basically what it is he's talking about cancel culture. And what are they trying to do to him now? They're trying to cancel him. You do anything wrong, I'm going to take away everything that you have.
But I think it's even worse. It is is this considered black on black crime?
I don't think
Please don't come at me. I'm just asking a question. Because it's the National Black Justice Coalition going after Dave Chappelle. Would this not be considered black on black crime?
I take the fifth on that one. What do you do if a cop knocks on your door or Ryan asks you a question? You plead the fifth.
Plead the fifth. God, I wish Andy were here, because Andy would he'd give me a fucking lecture or have a heart attack.
Yeah,
boy.
yeah. This is such a freaking crazy 2 weeks here. So, but I need to watch that. I think I'm going to watch that after the show tonight.
Yeah, I need to finish. It is not child friendly. I can't watch it while my kids. No. The first 5 minutes of it, you're like, oh, that's gonna. Yeah, kids can't listen to this. Is he just? I mean,
yeah.
Man, there's just so much to go over tonight. Jesus, we've been
slacking. We haven't even talked about Pfizer, the COVID vaccines. We haven't talked about Jedi being canceled. Okay, Jedi getting canceled from Scientific America. This is just one that it makes my head hurt trying to wrap my head around this.
Jedi is being canceled. Does that mean Sith is being canceled?
Well, the thing is their whole point of, Jedi I didn't know until I read this article. Jedi stands for, justice, diversity, equality, and inclusion.
Yep.
Is that really what Jedi stood for?
It is. It is. I've read a lot of the books and figured it out when first Jediah was the original before they got off the core worlds of Star Wars. I can talk all day. But when they moved from the main planets to Coruscant, in the temple is actually, if you ever watch the movie, it's actually imprinted on the ceiling of the word Jedi broken down. It is pretty neat. But yes,
I don't remember that.
That is actually what it means.
I do not remember.
Not many people pay attention that there's wording stamped. My dumbass has to freeze frame every fucking still to figure out. Yeah, but yes, you are correct. That is what Jedi stands for.
Okay. So Scientific America wants to get rid of this fictitious, I guess,
they do know this is now an actual religion in this world, right?
I mean, it's a weird, if it is, it's even in the Star Wars universe, though, it's a weird religion because in the original 4, 5, and 6, yeah, it was treated like a religion. And this religion gave you powers because you could use the Force and everything. Then they got into 1, 2, and 3, and you find out it's not as much of a religion as it is. You have these midichlorians in you that are basically like genetic tests let you control the midichlorians and everything else or something.
Yeah. So there's a test where they test to see one. The thing is, they have to do it as their baby, which makes this kind of like them stealing children.
Yeah.
That's where I'm like, yeah. Because if you really break it down, like, oh, they're going to people's house. Your kid can touch the Force. We're gonna take it from you.
So, but the thing is like, I've read this article so many times and I just don't understand on the face of it why they're saying that they shouldn't, because basically they say it's like a conflict of that Jedi means justice and all of that stuff. Yet they're, as they put it, they're an exclusionary cult. Membership is basically genetic. The only ones that get into it have special force wielding talents and high midichlorian levels. So there's a genetic test with it. They're gaslighting people using the Jedi mind trick.
That's a way to say that. Yeah. Never heard of anyone calling gaslighting.
So that's their argument, but to me, I say, so what? It's a fictitious movie that takes place a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Far, far away. There's a story where Chewbacca ends up on Earth and he's now the Sasquatch.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he turns into a Sasquatch or a Yeti.
Yeah.
But this whole thing about let's cancel Star Wars or cancel the Jedi, they're knights. They're Jedi knights.
Yep.
And it's a play on feudalism. Feudalism and democracy. You have Jedi knights. They are knights that you, just like knights back during feudal times, not everybody could be a knight. You basically had to be born into knighthood. It's the same thing. It's a movie.
That's it. It's a fucking movie. Yes. Did it become popular? Yes. Did about a few billion people fall in love with it? Sure. Did people actually create Jedi churches? Yes, they did.
Which is weird.
I've actually thought about signing up for one. Research purposes. For research purposes. But their main thought of it, yeah, why? Because of justice, equality, diversity, and inclusion, yeah. Because it's specifically, but a lot of it was like white. They tried to racially divide it by saying it's white heroism, and I'm like,
the leader is a short green guy.
Yeah, actually, no,
is a tiny green guy.
That's what they wanted you to think. It was actually Mace Windu. Mace Windu at the time of episodes 1, 2, and 3 is the Grand Master of the Jedi Council.
I don't care. Yoda's always the master.
Yoda's special. I've learned they started doing more stories on him, and it's very interesting to see how he is when he's younger, of not giving a shit. That is.
Well, he's like when we meet him, he's like 1,000 years old, isn't he?
Yeah,
900 years old.
900.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but again, like, you know, the master, one of the masters is Yoda. The other one is Samuel L. Jackson, who carries a purple lightsaber.
Yes. The infamous amethyst crystal of the purple lightsaber. So again, this whole white knight thing. Okay, you know, Luke is white. A lot of other, you know, Obi-Wan, Anakin, all of them. But when you actually watch it, there's 1, 2, and 3. There's Jedis of all different, I guess, races. Type.
Yeah. I think
that they weren't discriminating of sex. They took everybody.
Right.
Even fish people.
It's a trap.
Fucking had to be.
But I mean, it's just it. That's the thing that pisses me off is you take something that's loved and it's a movie. Again, it's a movie. And you politicize it. Stop politicizing a freaking movie. The whole movie is a warrior's journey. Each trilogy is a different warrior's journey. And it was literally based on the warrior's journey from that Lucas based it on God, I have that book, The Man with 1,000 Faces or something like that. But I mean, that was the basis of Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's a Western, it's a space, you know, drama, it's a King Arthur's Knight's Tale, it's all of that. It's entertainment.
Now, A Knight's Tale was a really good movie.
That's on Netflix now. I just saw it today.
Oh, it's been a hot minute.
So, yeah.
So here's one of the comments on it. This is why they believe that needs to be gone away. This is some guy's comment on this story. Intergalactic police monks prone to white saviorism and toxicity masculinity, approaches to conflict resolution, violent duels with phallic lightsabers, gaslight means of Jedi mind tricks, and an exclusionary cult. Yeah, that guy's fucking worse stoned off than I am, because that's just fucked up.
Well, the problem is that's what happens. I studied film, and when you study film so much, this is what ends up getting in there. He's looking at this film from a feminist point of view. There's, when you're looking at film, you can look at it from a lot of point of views. A feminist critique. You can look at it from a Marxist critique. You can look at it from all these different critiques, and this is a feminist critique.
Oh yeah, I mean, but I believe that dude needs to fucking walk off a cliff. Darwin needs to visit him.
And that's where really film criticism, in my opinion, shouldn't go much beyond the classroom, because you're diving too much into symbolism and all this stuff where it has no relevance on the movie itself.
Oh yeah. Completely agree on that.
And all you're doing is basically throwing shade on the movie and making yourself feel like or think that you're smarter than everyone else because you can see it through this view, through this lens. So that's my problem. And this is coming from a guy that has a degree in, film criticism and horror films and the Fantastics, which Star Wars falls under. Although I more specialize in horror films than science fiction.
There's some pretty good horror films coming out this month too.
Yeah, we've got the new Halloween coming out.
I was to say, new Halloween's coming up.
Yep.
Is Rob Zombie doing that one too, or is it somebody else?
No, this is a continuation of the last Halloween movie that had Jamie Lee Curtis in it. So the last Halloween film that came out, basically it jumped from Halloween 1, Halloween 2. I don't even think it referenced Halloween 2. Halloween 1 all the way to skipped H2O, which also had Jamie Lee Curtis in it.
Yeah.
And jumped all the way to, 2019 or 2020. This one takes place immediately that same night after.
I saw some clips because I thought, I was like, "Ooh, this is gonna look good," and then they were trying to light them on fire, and then the firemen looked like they were contradicting of, should we let the house burn or put it out? That would have to be confusing.
Yeah,
I mean, you see Michael Myers standing there in the doorway, you just want to, push him back in the house.
My problem is I love the Halloween movies. My problem is they jump around too much. Like you take Halloween 1 and 2, and then you have to skip 3 because 3 had nothing to do with Michael Myers.
I was always a Freddy Krueger fan.
Yeah. Then you have 4 and 5 and 6, which you basically have to assume that Jamie Lee Curtis' character, Laurie, gave up her child because she was afraid of Michael Myers waking up and coming back. In 6, Michael Myers actually has a baby with his niece. They don't explain how he has a baby with his niece, but you can imagine.
I don't want to.
While she was in captivity. And then it jumps to H2O, which you then have to pretend that 4, 5, and 6 don't exist. 3, 4, 5, and 6 don't exist, but 1 and 2 does. Yeah. Then 7 takes place right after H2O, but nobody from any of the other ones is in that one, and it's more like a reality show. Then you have the remakes with that were made of it, 1 and 2. And then we jump into the last Halloween that came out, which you have to ignore 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, H2O, and any of the remakes. So it basically jumps from 1978 to 2018 or 2019. I can't remember what year it was. And then this one takes place right after, and I haven't obviously seen it yet. So that's the only thing that bugs me about this, is at least keep some sort of continuity to it.
Who knows? All right. What else is on the...
Although I did some math back in the day and figured out that Michael Myers was born the same year as my father, as my dad. So Michael Myers is actually... Yeah, and so Michael Myers is actually the same age as my dad, because he was, based on the math that I did, he was born in 1957.
Could happen. All right.
All right.
I'm going to do a
I think we should have one more.
One more?
One more. And then
good
we'll
one.
call
Or
it a
more?
night.
Call it a night. Let's do Australia.
Okay. How much is there to say? Australia is basically, it's Mad Max right now.
But
what's that?
That's the thing, is that Australia surrendered all their weapons in the early mid-90s.
Yeah.
The 90s or the 80s? It was one of those decades.
It was the 90s. I know it was 90s.
I couldn't remember if it was because I remember it. I remember talking about it a lot. But this is where they're very taking that for granted. Of a lot of people are wishing that they had their guns, because right now, Australia's
1996. It was between October 96 and September 97. Australia confiscated 650,000 guns.
Jesus.
That's all they have. In the U.S., we have more guns than people, and we have 330 or 40 million people.
I saw a video with Biden saying that he's going to be ready to have all our guns taken. Special forces are going to drop in by helicopter and seize them. I said, that's funny.
Good luck with that.
That's funny. I won't play fair. I like making things blow up, so I'll go that route if I have to. But it's depressing watching Australia. They're in a police state. You have a few videos showing where cops are rounding up people, arresting them just for being outside.
So let me play. So here, I turned the audio down so that we can talk about this a little bit. So here's video of them. The police are basically marching in formation, shooting. They say it's rubber bullets, but still, they're shooting at civilians. Just marching over them. Like a military does. Marching over their own people. Right here. They're in an open field. People are running away from them, and they're marching forward in formation, firing weapons at them. Here's another one. Police coming out of an armored vehicle, tackle this guy. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. This police officer is punching the guy.
And there was a dude that just came in and ran his knee into that dude's kidney.
Yeah. By the way, this is people protesting and not wearing a mask. That's their great sin. That's how violent these protesters are. So let me pause this right here. So I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 police officers on one guy right here who's not wearing a mask.
Wearing a red hat, though. I wonder if it's a MAGA hat.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, they got him on the ground now. Oh, here comes another, dozen?
There's like 9 more.
Yeah, here's like 12 more police officers.
Fuck.
Right there. Now, check this out. This is video. Here's people running down the street. And look at these guys. They're military. They have seized military control of this city. One more time. And this is for...
We're doing a wave formation. That's just nuts.
These are people that are protesting because they're locking them in their house. They're treating everybody like they have a tether on them and they're under house arrest.
It's crazy.
This is supposed to be a first world country? This looks worse than Venezuela.
Yeah. I mean, they did announce they're going to a whole new world order. The rumor is that they're trying to do a one governed government for all man, and that's not going to happen. There's no way. There's no way we would let that happen.
Okay. One last thing, I'm going to play this clip. It's 2 minutes long. Listen to these guys question this guy, and he's acting fairly civilly to them, much more than I would be.
We'll film as well. So, like I said, put you on camera here, just recording our conversation.
Yep. So I'll just let you know, just because it's my camera that's going. So I'm Sergeant Hawthorne from Northwest Net OSG. As you're recording, we're recording as well. Everything's being done visually and also audio on the body-worn camera.
No worries. What's your name? Baker. Thanks, man.
Salmon, mate. SAL.
Thanks, mate.
Mate, what we're here for is obviously just in relation to the recent protests that are popping up and whatnot, and actually just here to do welfare checks and whatnot. You're planning on going in?
Welfare checks.
I didn't know there's anything going.
No?
No.
Any planned protests that you may know of?
Not as far as I know. No, it's a complete surprise when the cops are here. I'm like, what for?
Yeah, no stress. Just a friendly chat, that's all. So are you aware of any planned protests or events
that
are coming up, Jeff?
Nope.
No? Okay. Are you aware of any communication circling around between people about the planned any protests coming up?
No.
No?
No.
Do you use any platform at all or to communicate?
No.
Have you gone to any protests in the past?
No.
Not all
You haven't?
You guys wouldn't be here otherwise.
Yeah. All right.
I'd like to know how you got this address, actually.
Okay. Anything else you like
don't
to
answer that.
tell us that might help ensure the public safety?
No, it's all good. As long as you guys aren't running around shooting people with rubber bullets like down in Victoria, we're all good.
That's also another reason why, like, they're concerned with what's happening down in Victoria, that it doesn't then escalate and come up.
Yeah, of course.
So,
yeah.
You know, just making sure
They
your
just
safety,
don't want to
our
have an
safety,
excuse to
everyone
hit
else's
anybody with rubber bullets.
All good.
You've got nothing, you're happy.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
All right, man.
Bye, guys.
Have a good night.
See you
Take
later.
care.
Bye-bye.
A cop comes to my house asking me questions like that, they would get the door slammed in their face.
Sorry, I plead the fifth. I'm not being detained.
Yeah. I choose not to answer
Have
that.
a nice day.
I choose not to answer that. You have no right to be on my property. Like, I don't know the laws down in Australia of how they can get away with that, or if this guy was just extra nice, but the thing is
No, the laws are that way down there, from what I hear.
And here's the hard part too, is I have a number of friends that live there and are in Victoria and in that area. I've lost contact with them. I used to see them on Facebook all the time. We used to chat a lot about what's going on. They were telling me about the lockdowns and everything. I don't see them online anymore.
Yeah. A lot of them, I don't see a lot of the ones I talk to online. I have one, he'll pop on here and there, but he's closer to Melbourne more than he is to that area. So I'm not sure.
It's the crazy thing is I think this is what a lot of leftists and a lot of the totalitarian leftists, should I say, that want to control everybody that doesn't agree with them. This is what they want. They want top-down government control. You get the vaccine, you wear a mask, or you can't leave your house. You have no freedoms. And if you see police, Last summer, we had people firebombing Portland, and our police weren't allowed to do anything. They weren't allowed to spray them with pepper spray. They got in trouble for that. And they were getting attacked, and they were getting bricks and frozen water bottles and everything thrown at them, and they weren't allowed to fight back.
You had Washington, the autonomous zone.
Yeah.
That's just insult to
and
injury.
Here
right
you
there.
have the police literally in formation marching down the street, shooting civilians that are not violent, that are having the great sin of protesting the lockdowns, being outside their house. That's their great crime of being outside their house. And I hate to say, the way things are looking, this is coming to America, but it's going to end up much bloodier.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no,
I
no.
mean,
if this even hinted in the streets of America, yeah, you're going to see like the blue states, like California, New York, they're all going to file in. You get to where everybody else is, the nitty gritty of it. It's just going to be a purge nation.
It's going to be, so the American Revolution, at least when I was in elementary school, we learned was sparked by the Boston Massacre, where the British killed 5 people, British soldiers, and that was the big spark. It's going to be worse than that.
Oh, yeah.
And Australia, I mean, I don't know what to say. I'd love to tell you to stand up for yourselves. You're fighting back. You are fighting back. That's the thing. The people out there are fighting back. They have no way to fight back. That's the thing. Outside of doing an Antifa and start throwing Molotov cocktails. Because these police officers they're not upholding what it means to be a police officer, which is to protect the individual and the individual's rights.
Correct.
They're being treated like an infiltrating battalion of soldiers. They're acting like a battalion of soldiers. And the fact that their government is doing that to them, I don't know what to say now.
Dude, there's just things in this world that we want to help and do something with it, but it's kind of to the point of we know we go and help them. It's all about how it looks. And the question is it going to come to the United States? We all want to say, no, it's not coming, but I can honestly, with this current presidency, if it's
not just the current presidency, it's the current administration and it's
government.
And it's the authoritarian left that stands behind him.
That makes it concerned that it's possible that it could happen. So, I'll be honest, they're going to just kind of hang in there. We're just going to have to see how this all plays. That's all I can do about that.
Yeah, we'll be watching. We'll keep watching. If anybody is listening from Australia, hit us up. Let us know what it's like. Ryan and I, we're here for you. We want to get your word out. We know that they may have made it difficult to be on social media or to get the word out, but, do what you can. Get a VPN, get things to protect yourself, anonymize yourself. Let the world know, just like these videos, let the world know what your government is doing to you. If you can't fight back, physically, because at some point it's probably going to happen. Either they fight back physically, or they get beaten down to the point of submission, which is what the authoritarians want. They want submission. And that's not freedom. You know, I have enough friends in Australia that, man, if you could come to the U.S., I would give you a place to live right now.
Yeah, I got room.
And so,
but I'm going to end it on that kind of depressing note.
Yeah, I don't know of anything fun. Time travel. We can talk about time travel real quick. Just to make it.
We could really use some time travel right now and fucking go back and fix this bullshit.
So Business Insider talked about 2 types of time travel that physicists agree one of them might be possible. Have you ever, done any research and theorized about the different theories of time travel?
A ton. Back when I was fucking wee lad, I've always wanted to figure out how to time travel. Reading Einstein and Tesla and everything.
Well, Einstein's theory is interesting in that in Einstein's theory, you have to travel faster than the speed of light. So, the thought experiment that he says is you're looking at a clock, and if you move away from that clock, or it takes the speed of light for the light to bounce off that clock and hit you in the eye for you to see it move. If you move away from that clock at the speed of light, say you're on a train moving at the speed of light away from that clock, time stands still. However, if you take one step forward on that train, you are now moving faster than the speed of light, and you are seeing what actually happened before you moved away from that clock. So you essentially went back in time because time and space is related. But the problem with that is you need an infinite amount of space to move back in time. You can't be back in time in the same spot. So in order for you to move back in time, you have to be in a different space.
Yeah, you can't occupy the same space as this similar mass. So you'd have to be in a different spot when you returned.
Well, that's Time Cop.
Yeah. Well,
that's Jean-Claude Van Damme.
That's also Flash, too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
but now,
if you could go back in time, would you?
Right. Now, Rosenberg theorized that because of the time and space, you could actually connect 2 wormholes and make what's known as the Rosenberg Bridge, where you're able to connect 2 different places in space with a bridge. And by traveling from one to the other, you are basically traveling back in time because it doesn't take the time it takes to get there normally. But again, you're in a different space. So, time travel is really interesting. There's also the theory that it's impossible, even theoretically, it's impossible to travel back in time before the ability to travel back in time was discovered. Meaning, if I made a time machine today and I travel and someone from the future travels back from the future to now, so they're in the same space but in a different time, they wouldn't be able to travel further than the invention of that time machine because there's no time machine before that. They can only travel to that point or after. And that would be the folding of space-time in order to do that. Basically, you would take space-time, which is like a piece of paper, and you would fold it in over top of itself so that your time would then fold into another time in the future, but you would have to have this machine that's able to fold that space-time in that area. Because you need that machine to do it, you can't go before that machine is invented.
Oh, that would suck.
So you can't travel back to like the 16th century.
I would like to travel back to when I gave a fuck.
So when you were, what, 3? 4?
I guess. I think so. I think then.
Sometime around kindergarten, you just gave up?
Yeah. No, yeah, I gave up a long fuck before that. Who knows? But
here's that's just some thought to think about. Think about time travel. Tell us about time travel, what you think time travel, how it would be possible.
And please don't take it as a comic book theory, because I don't really want to talk about Iron Man's theory of time travel versus Flashpoint.
Oh yeah. Well, then you're talking alternate dimensions, and then at the same time, when it's weird when you get into alternate dimensions, because
multiverse,
theoretically right now, if you were to go back in time and change the past,
Mandela effect.
Oh yeah. the Bernstein Bears, I swear it's Bernstein, not Berenstein.
It is Bernstein. And someone did another one about Snow White, where Maleficent asks the mirror, what's the saying when she speaks to the mirror?
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?
Nope. No, the tape now just says, magic mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?
Although there's some that I don't know if it's a Mandela effect or just because enough people repeated it wrong, like the whole Luke, I am your father. He never said Luke, I am your father.
That is Mandela effect. That was, I remember it being Luke, I am your father.
See, and but the thing is it was never that, because even when I was a kid, kids would say that to me, and I go, he never said Luke, I am your father. It was other kids that told me that. And I had the tape, and I went back and watched it, and that's when he said, no, I am your father.
Did he say it?
Yeah.
Man, I gotta rewatch it again. All right. Nope. Now it's got me thinking more. We're gonna have to call this one a night.
There is one that that still gets me. Is I remember, for some reason, the movie Kazam.
Yes, Kazam with Sinbad.
Shazam. Yes.
Yeah, the original Shazam movie.
Shazam, the one with basketball player.
No, Shaquille O'Neal did Kazam. Sinbad did Shazam.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, no.
Yes.
I actually remember seeing it. I think my parents may still have the VHS in a box somewhere.
You better find that, because it's not on IMDb anywhere. I can't find it anywhere. Even Cedric the Entertainer says it's not anywhere. He never made it.
But yet there's screenshots of him being a fucking genie. Because he was Shazam the genie.
Yeah.
And then Shaquille O'Neal did Kazam.
Like a couple years later.
Yeah. So I remember this fucking movie.
For some reason, I can remember that too. But at the same time, I don't remember the movie. I just remember seeing the box.
Out, because Shazam came out around the same time, I believe, the Transformers movie in the 80s. The Transformers, the animated movie, when they killed Optimus Prime the first time. God, I cried. My wife bought me the 25th anniversary DVD set of that when it came out. But that movie for Shazam actually happened. I swear to I will swear on my deathbed. It was a real thing.
I am so, my mind is so torn right now, because I feel like I remember it. But yet it's like I don't trust myself. So I don't know. Okay, on that, we need to land us. Can you give the contact info real quick while I get things set up to land?
All right. So, again, this is Fire Talk Radio. Our website is firetalkradio.com. Our email address, if you ever want to email us, contact us in any way, shape, or form, you can email us at firetalknetwork@gmail.com. And, or if you want to leave us a voicemail, it's 814-380-9820. And again, we're on all streaming platforms minus Pandora.
All right.
Well, I just want to thank everybody for joining us on this flight number 15 of Fire Talk Radio. I want to thank all the people in the back for leaning to the right side when we were coming up on that other airplane. It was a bit close, and I appreciate the shifting of the weight. Please remember to thank your servers on the way out. They go through a lot of training to say bye-bye, bye, bye now, bye, bye-bye, bye, goodbye, bye now, bye, bye, goodbye, bye, bye now, bye, bye, goodbye, bye, goodbye, bye-bye, bye-bye, bye, bye-bye, goodbye. Thank you. Have a great night.
We can only count to 4. We can only count to